Did you know that Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor of Judea who allowed Jesus to be crucified, had a mysterious and tragic end? Imagine bearing the responsibility for one of history's most controversial decisions and suffering its consequences in silence. Pilate's existence is attested to in a variety of historical and religious sources, including biblical, historical, and traditional accounts. The four Gospels of the New Testament tell of his hesitation and eventual choice to crucify Jesus, as well as his relationship with Jesus and the pressures exerted by the Jewish authorities, Matthew 27, Mark 15, Luke 23, and John 18-19. In addition, accounts by the Jewish historian Flavius Josephus and the Roman philosopher Philo of Alexandria provide additional historical context on Pilate and his rule in Judea. By combining these sources, a more comprehensive understanding of Pilate's complex character and his role in the crucifixion emerges. To fully understand his narrative, it becomes imperative to explore the events described in the Holy Scriptures and the complex political and social dynamics of his era. Continue watching to uncover the extraordinary and disturbing account of Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor who determined Jesus' destiny. Pilate, the governor of Judea, found himself in a perplexing situation. Jewish religious leaders insisted on crucifying Jesus, accusing him of blasphemy. Nevertheless, Pilate found no wrongdoing in Jesus, John 18:38. He made several attempts to release Jesus, even proposing the customary release of a prisoner during Passover. Still, the crowd sided with Barabbas rather than Jesus, Matthew 27:15-26. Despite his hesitation, Pilate succumbed to the pressure of the crowd, symbolically purged his hands, and handed Jesus over to be crucified, Matthew 27:24. The purpose of this gesture was to absolve himself of accountability for Jesus' death. This act would resonate throughout history as a symbol of cowardice and injustice. Furthermore, the biblical narrative emphasizes Pilate's various attempts to appease the crowd, including flogging Jesus, in the hope that a lesser punishment would satisfy the Jewish leaders, Luke 23:16. This decisive moment not only sealed Jesus' fate, but also marked the beginning of Pilate's downfall. The actions described in the input text and their consequences have been the subject of debate and analysis for centuries. Pontius Pilate was well aware of the political instability prevailing in the region. During the Passover celebration, Jerusalem was in a state of turmoil, and the presence of Jesus, whom many revered as a prophet, attracted even more public attention. Religious leaders accused him of inciting rebellion against Rome, a serious charge that could have led to his condemnation under Roman law. Pilate found himself in a challenging position. Releasing Jesus would potentially provoke a revolt from the Jewish community, while condemning him would mean authorizing the death of a man Pilate believed innocent. To prevent a riot, Pilate caved in to their demands. Little did he realize that this decision would haunt him for the rest of his life. The Bible does not provide explicit insights into Pilate's internal thoughts. However, his actions reflect a man grappling with immense pressure, seeking to strike a delicate balance between justice and the preservation of public order. The subsequent historical records indicate that this burden weighed heavily upon him. The maintenance of order in regions such as Judea necessitated a nuanced equilibrium of power, as any display of vulnerability could be exploited by Rome's adversaries. Consequently, Pilate found himself entangled in an extraordinarily intricate situation where every decision carried the potential for significant political and social ramifications. During Jesus' trial, an unsettling dream troubled Pilate's wife, Claudia Procula. She urgently dispatched a message to Pilate, cautioning him against any involvement with the righteous man, Matthew 27:19. This dream is exclusively mentioned in the Gospel of Matthew, and its origin and significance remain enigmatic. Some scholars propose that it was a divine intervention, an attempt to deter Jesus' crucifixion. Claudia Procula, although briefly mentioned in biblical accounts, emerges as a pivotal figure, underscoring Pilate's moral quandary. She had endured considerable distress due to her conviction that the dream bore a divine warning. Ignoring this warning would constitute a grave error that would haunt Pilate indefinitely. In certain denominations within the Christian tradition, Claudia Procula has been sanctified, underscoring the perceived significance of her role in the Passion drama. Furthermore, Claudia's portrayal is construed by some as emblematic of the voice of conscience endeavoring to intervene during moments of moral crisis. Her unsettling dream introduces a supernatural element to the narrative, implying the involvement of greater forces during the trial. Jesus was crucified by Pilate's decree, with the inscription on the cross bearing the words, "Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews," John 19:19. Pilate employed this inscription in Hebrew, Latin, and Greek as a means to validate the accusation that Jesus purported to be a king, thereby committing an act of treason against Caesar. While Jesus endured suffering, Pilate grappled with his own doubts and guilt. The crucifixion of Jesus stands as a pivotal event in the Gospels, meticulously chronicled, including the reactions of various witnesses and the supernatural occurrences that accompanied it, such as the darkness at noon and the tearing of the temple veil, Matthew 27:45-51. The events that transpired only intensified the burden on Pilate's conscience, as he bore witness to occurrences that strongly suggested the divine innocence of Jesus. The biblical narrative implies that the crucifixion was not merely a human event, but rather a cosmic moment where the forces of good and evil clashed. From a historical perspective, the act of crucifixion was reserved for the most heinous criminals and was intended to serve as a public spectacle of shame and torment. Pilate's decision to proceed with this particular form of execution, despite his reservations, serves as a testament to the immense pressure and intricate political and social dynamics that he found himself entangled in. Following the crucifixion, Pilate developed an intense fixation on the decision he had rendered. Manipulated by the crowd and the religious leaders, he found his soul corroded by remorse. The words of Jesus reverberated incessantly in his thoughts. "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do." Luke 23:34. Pilate's guilt compounded each day, reaching an insufferable level. Although the Bible omits explicit details regarding Pilate's subsequent emotions, it is plausible to speculate on the profound psychological impact of his actions, given the weightiness of his verdict. Christian tradition maintains that Pilate never managed to alleviate the burden of responsibility he bore for Jesus' demise, a weight that profoundly influenced the course of his life. Apocryphal Gospels and other extra-canonical sources, such as the Ethiopian Orthodox Church tradition, delve deeper into Pilate's anguish, portraying him as a man consumed by guilt. His symbolic act of washing his hands failed to assuage the moral weight he carried, and he must have constantly revisited the events of that fateful day. The Ethiopian Orthodox tradition even suggests that Pilate embraced Christianity, acknowledging his culpability and seeking redemption. Although this hypothesis remains largely speculative and lacks universal acceptance, according to the Gospels, the guards who were assigned to watch over Jesus' tomb recounted that he had risen, Matthew 28:4-5. This revelation caused a significant upheaval among the Jewish leaders and Pilate, leading Pilate to resort to suppressing the truth by bribing the guards to spread a false narrative, Matthew 28:12-15. Nevertheless, news of Jesus' resurrection swiftly disseminated, intensifying Pilate's inner turmoil. The resurrection stands as the pivotal event in Christian faith, unequivocally affirmed by both the Gospels and the epistles of the New Testament, 1 Corinthians 15:3-8. For Pilate, the resurrection posed a crisis of legitimacy. If Jesus indeed rose, it not only validated his claims of divinity, but also implicated Pilate in the wrongful condemnation of an innocent man. Pilate's efforts to conceal the resurrection reflect his struggle to uphold order and preserve his sanity in the face of inexplicable events that challenged both reason and Roman authority. Furthermore, The subsequent spread of Christianity, encompassing the conversion of numerous Jews and Gentiles, expanded the ramifications of the resurrection and the implications of Pilate's decision. Efforts to suppress the truth of the resurrection exemplify the enduring conflict between the temporal authority of Rome and the emerging spiritual influence of Christianity. Emperor Tiberius received conflicting reports regarding the events in Judea. Pilate found himself in a precarious position, facing accusations of unpopularity due to his brutal repression and indifference towards Jewish customs. Flavius Josephus and Philo of Alexandria depict Pilate as an uncompromising governor whose actions frequently incited the wrath of the Jewish community. Notably, Pilate's use of temple funds to construct an aqueduct sparked a strong reaction among the Jews. Matters escalated when he was summoned back to Rome to account for his deeds. Pilate's removal from office ensued following an incident involving the killing of Samaritans on Mount Gerizim. This event, combined with his overall governance, prompted Lucius Vitellius, governor of Syria, to recall him. Pilate faced a rigorous investigation in Rome, marking the end of his political career. The political ramifications of his actions in Judea had profound consequences for both him and the province under his administration. The political upheaval in Judea under the rule of Pilate and his subsequent downfall exemplify the intricacies of Roman governance in the provinces, where the imperative to maintain order and assert Roman authority often clashed with local customs and desires for autonomy. During his time in Rome, Pilate was subjected to a rigorous investigation, which primarily centered around his failure to maintain peace and his inadequate administration. Tiberius, filled with anger over the tensions that Pilate had incited in Judea, saw this as an opportunity to hold him accountable. Seizing this chance, Pilate's political adversaries launched an attack against him, resulting in his removal from office and subsequent exile. Throughout this ordeal, Pilate's wife, Claudia, continued to suffer from distressing nightmares, while he himself, burdened by guilt, withdrew from public life and became reclusive. According to tradition, Pilate did not face a formal trial, but rather was compelled to retire from his position. Some non-canonical accounts, such as the Acts of Pilate, present alternative narratives of his life after the crucifixion, often characterized by remorse and penance. The circumstances surrounding Pilate's death remain shrouded in mystery and subject to speculation, with various traditions offering differing accounts of his ultimate fate. In any case, historical records depict a man whose actions had a profound and enduring impact on his own life and the course of history. The investigation conducted in Rome likely focused on Pilate's inability to maintain peace and his inadequate governance, reflecting the intricate web of power and politics that defined his tenure. Once a figure of great authority within the Roman Empire, Pilate found himself rendered helpless, spending his final days in a state of disgrace and isolation. The demise of Pontius Pilate, a man who sought to preserve his position through injustice, remains shrouded in mystery, thereby encompassing a tragic irony. According to certain historical accounts, it is suggested that Pilate took his own life, unable to bear the weight of his actions and the humiliation of his exile. Eusebius of Caesarea, a church historian from the 4th century, mentions that Pilate committed suicide during the reign of Caligula. Conversely, other accounts, such as Tacitus's, lack specific details regarding his death. Additionally, Christian tradition presents varied versions of his fate, with some proposing that he converted to Christianity prior to his passing. A popular legend, propagated through medieval and Renaissance literature such as the Golden Legend, recounts Pilate's suicide in his exile in Gaul, where his body was cast into a river. Regardless, his demise was viewed as a tragic outcome for a man who played a pivotal role in the crucifixion of Jesus. The amalgamation of history, tradition, and speculation surrounding his death reflects the intricate nature of his persona within collective memory. Furthermore, Pilate's narrative has been utilized throughout the centuries to delve into themes of guilt, redemption, and justice. If true, his suicide is perceived as a conclusive manifestation of despair and remorse, while the accounts of his conversion indicate an endeavor to seek absolution. These varied narratives underscore the challenge of distinguishing fact from fiction when it comes to historical figures entwined in events of immense religious and moral significance. Pilate has emerged as a notorious figure in Christian history, often depicted as a feeble and easily influenced man who lacks the fortitude to uphold what he knew to be right. His life and death serve as a reminder of the enduring impact of our choices and the ramifications of yielding to external pressures. In the Gospels, Pilate is portrayed as a governor who, despite acknowledging Jesus' innocence, succumbed to the demands of the crowd. Over the centuries, Christian tradition has demonized him, although certain apocryphal texts present a more compassionate portrayal of his character. Pilate's hesitation and ultimate decision have been the subject of numerous theological and historical interpretations, accentuating the moral and ethical intricacies of his role in the crucifixion. The tale of Pilate's black legend serves as a cautionary tale, highlighting the perils of succumbing to external pressures at the expense of justice and truth. Pilate is often compared to other historical figures who have faced similar moral dilemmas, using his story to underscore the significance of courage and integrity. In various Christian traditions, he is remembered during Holy Week as an exemplification of how cowardice and injustice can lead to catastrophic outcomes. Pilate's tragic narrative also invites profound theological contemplation. Despite standing before the Son of God, he failed to recognize the truth, thereby exemplifying the fallibility of human nature. Pilate's account challenges us to reflect upon our choices and the fortitude required to pursue the path of truth. Over the centuries, theologians have engaged in debates regarding Pilate's role in the Passion of Christ, often employing his character to illustrate the struggle between justice and convenience. His attempt to absolve himself of guilt by washing his hands is viewed as a symbol of a guilty conscience evading responsibility. Pilate's portrayal in sermons serves to underscore the imperative of moral fortitude and uprightness. His narrative serves as a poignant reminder that when confronted with arduous choices, we must possess the bravery to act justly, even in the face of personal repercussions. Within Christian theology, Pilate's character symbolizes the eternal struggle between good and evil, with his failure to acknowledge and act upon the truth about Jesus serving as a cautionary tale against moral complacency. Moreover, Pilate's story beckons us to introspect and introspectively examine our own hearts, urging us to live in accordance with principles of justice and truth. Pilate's significance extends to a multitude of artistic and literary works, with artists and writers throughout history delving into his internal conflict and his role in Jesus' crucifixion. From medieval religious art to contemporary literature, Pilate's portrayal varies, reflecting evolving perspectives over time. In José Saramago's The Gospel According to Jesus Christ and Mikhail Bulgakov's The Master and Margarita, Pilate emerges as a multifaceted character torn between duty and morality. In artistic depictions, he is often portrayed within the scene of Jesus' condemnation. Pilate's cultural representations reflect his enduring impact on the collective imagination, underscoring his historical and theological significance. Moreover, Pilate frequently appears in depictions of the Via Crucis, serving as a focal point for contemplation on power, justice, and humanity. Theater and cinema have also delved into his character, often emphasizing the moral quandaries he confronted. The intricate nature of Pilate as a figure enables artists and writers to explore universal themes of power, responsibility, and redemption. Within Christian tradition, Pilate is frequently recalled during Holy Week, with sermons and theatrical portrayals of the Passion of Christ, invoking his presence as a cautionary example of how cowardice and injustice can yield devastating consequences. Liturgical rites mention Pilate in the Nicene Constantinopolitan Creed, emphasizing his crucial role in the history of Christian salvation. Pedagogically, Pilate's figure is utilized to educate about the perils of injustice and the absence of moral fortitude. During Easter festivities, the remembrance of Pilate serves as a poignant reminder of the repercussions of human actions and the imperative to pursue justice and truth in all circumstances. Within numerous Christian customs, Pilate's persona is closely linked with the notion of unjust adjudication, and his narrative is employed to impart the significance of righteousness and fairness. In certain liturgical practices, Pilate is invoked in prayers as a paradigm of human frailty and the indispensable requirement for divine grace to surmount our moral dilemmas. The life and death of Pilate offer invaluable insights into the notions of responsibility and integrity. Pilate, despite having the opportunity to alter the course of history, opted for the path of least resistance. His narrative serves as a poignant reminder that our actions carry consequences not only for ourselves, but also for those impacted by our decisions. Pilate's character is frequently employed in educational and moral contexts to exemplify the significance of acting with justice and courage. His hesitation and capitulation to external pressures vividly demonstrate how a lack of moral steadfastness can lead to catastrophic choices. The lessons derived from Pilate's story resonate across various domains of life, spanning from the realm of politics to personal decision-making, acting as a constant reminder of the imperative to remain steadfast in the pursuit of truth and justice. In numerous contexts, Pilate serves as a compelling case study for discussions on ethics and leadership, underscoring the necessity of integrity in positions of power. His shortcomings caution against complacency and the inclination to choose the path of least resistance, even at the expense of moral rectitude. Pilate's tale challenges us to introspect on our own actions and embrace the responsibility to act justly, even when confronted with immense pressure. To this day, Pilate's narrative continues to resonate in our world, particularly during times of uncertainty and conflict. Making just and courageous decisions has never been more pertinent. The tragic tale of Pilate serves as a poignant reminder that truth must prevail, even when confronted with immense pressure and adversity. Pilate's character is frequently invoked in contemporary discussions on leadership and ethics, emphasizing the difficulties of maintaining integrity amidst political and social pressures. His narrative serves as a cautionary tale, warning us about the perils of complicity with injustice during times of crisis. The enduring relevance of his teachings transcends the confines of time and culture, exemplifying their timeless significance. Moreover, Pilate's story frequently arises in debates concerning justice and human rights, illustrating the catastrophic consequences of inaction. His persona serves as a constant reminder of the imperative of moral courage and the necessity of firmly upholding the truth. Pilate's enduring relevance in the modern world attests to the universal and timeless nature of the moral quandaries he encountered, urging us to pursue justice and righteousness in our own lives. Pilate's portrayal in popular culture has extended beyond historical accounts, permeating movies, plays, and literature. Throughout these mediums, he has been depicted in a range of ways, from a ruthless antagonist to a product of circumstance. These diverse representations continue to captivate and intrigue audiences, emphasizing the pivotal role he played in human history. Films like The Passion of the Christ and Jesus of Nazareth skillfully capture the complexity of Pilate, showcasing his multi-dimensional character. In the realm of literature, he serves as a central figure in works exploring themes of power, justice, and remorse. By keeping Pilate's figure alive in popular culture, fresh interpretations and insights into his historical significance emerge. This ongoing fascination illustrates the enduring relevance of Pilate and his ability to provoke thought and discussion. Moreover, his presence in numerous Easter theatrical productions worldwide allows for continual examination and reinterpretation of his character. These various portrayals of Pilate in popular culture serve as a reflection of evolving values and societal perspectives, underscoring how each generation reevaluates his significance in light of new contexts and understandings. Pilate's enduring presence in discussions surrounding power, morality, and the consequences of human actions solidifies his status as a central figure in the annals of history. Pilate's enduring relevance in our culture is evident, as his memory persists in Christian traditions and the collective consciousness. His story serves as a testament to the power and fragility of humanity, reminding us of the importance of truth and justice. Pilate's inclusion in the Creed and the Passion narratives ensures his central place in Christian memory, and his story is utilized in religious and educational settings to impart lessons on morality and responsibility. The memory of Pilate serves as a constant reminder of the challenges faced by those in positions of power and the imperative of making just decisions. Symbolizing the consequences of fear and cowardice leading to moral wrongs, Pilate's figure also prompts contemplation on the nature of judgment and responsibility, underscoring the complexity inherent in his decisions. His actions and the subsequent condemnation of Jesus are examined from both historical and ethical perspectives, serving as a case study on leadership and ethics. Pilate's memory thus serves as a cautionary tale, emphasizing the significance of acting with integrity and courage in all circumstances. Please be reminded that our actions carry enduring consequences. The narrative of Pontius Pilate has had a lasting impact on the Christian faith, prompting deep introspection on our societal role and responsibility in making decisions. Pilate emerges as a tragic figure, his life and death continuing to serve as both inspiration and cautionary tale. Christian theology extensively employs Pilate's character to explore themes of sin, redemption, and justice. His pivotal role in the crucifixion of Jesus remains central to comprehending Christ's sacrifice and salvation. The enduring influence of Pilate stands as a testament to the significance of his actions and the invaluable lessons we can glean from his story. Furthermore, his portrayal is frequently employed within educational contexts to impart the significance of accountability and integrity. Pilate serves as an exemplar of the corrupting nature of power and the dire consequences of lacking moral fortitude in decision-making. His narrative compels us to reflect upon our own actions and the obligation to act justly, even when faced with immense pressure. The profound impact of Pilate on the Christian faith serves as a constant reminder of the imperative to pursue truth and justice in all circumstances, imparting wisdom regarding the potency of redemption and forgiveness. Pilate's character is one that encompasses complexity and tragedy. His narrative intertwines power, guilt, and remorse. Upon contemplation of his life and demise, we are compelled to recognize the significance of rendering just decisions and confronting the truth, regardless of its arduous nature. Pilate's tragedy serves as a perpetual reminder that our actions bear consequences, and the pursuit of justice and truth should forever remain our utmost priority. His persona mirrors our moral and ethical quandaries, urging us to exhibit integrity and valor in all circumstances. Pilate's account challenges us to ponder upon our responsibilities and the ramifications of our choices in the present and future. It imparts valuable lessons about the potential for redemption and the imperative of seeking truth, irrespective of the difficulties or unpopularity attached to such a quest. Pilate's enduring presence within our collective conscience serves as a constant reminder that justice and truth must perpetually ascend to the forefront of our priorities. As we contemplate Pilate's life and death, we are compelled to introspect upon our own actions and the obligation we bear to act with justice and integrity, regardless of the adversities we may encounter. We have now reached the conclusion of our video, and I trust that you found it to your liking. If you are seeking inspiration, knowledge, and spiritual connection, we encourage you to seize this opportunity. Please consider subscribing to our channel, expressing your support through likes and comments to foster a stronger community. May you be blessed, and we look forward to your presence in our upcoming videos.